live. Hello, everyone. Hello. We are here today to discuss The Winter of the Witch. Oh, hang on. Let me grab mine as well. Now, Riley's going to be joining us in a bit, but I am nervous because I know I am about to be outnumbered for the start of this. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous. By the way, to anyone watching, I reckon that we're just going to be like spoilery from the beginning because we can't really not be. Like, I feel like at this point in the series, like, we're just going to be spoilery. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch. Hang on. Don't watch. Just get out. But yeah, we're going to be discussing this. And let's just get started with our ratings. Now, okay. I still gave it 5 stars. I would never give it anything less. I still loved it. It did feel a bit slower this time. I don't know if that's because I was like rushing to read it. And I feel like I've been I can't speak. For all of the books, I've had the audiobook, and like, although it's helped me get through it quicker, I don't actually think I like the audiobooks as much as I enjoy it reading it physically. And so I feel like that's hampered my enjoyment a little bit. I wish I had just read them physically, but like, because of time, I read them via the audiobooks as well. But yeah, it's still 5 stars for me. It's not going to be 5 stars to these two. I'm just hoping. Well, sorry.
Which one in the trilogy is your favorite? I'm very curious.
I still think number 2. Yeah, I still think The Girl in the Tower is my favorite. I really love The Girl in the Tower because I like how it's like contained. Like I feel like it has its own story, whereas sometimes I feel like with middle books they don't, and they're just a bit like filler. But I feel like it had its own like plot with what's his name? Cassian? That was his name, wasn't it? I'm really bad at names. Yeah?
No, Cassian.
Wait. No.
I always want to call him Cassidy. I know who you're talking about. It's that dude.
Yeah, that dude. Anyway, but yeah, I still think number 2 is my favorite. So let's get into what you guys rated it. I'm still hoping Riley rated it. I don't know what she rated it, but I'm hoping she rated it fairly high, so I'm not on my own. But Nicole, what did you rate it?
So I was quite conflicted. I loved the first part of this book. Like, it was my favorite. The whole introduction, I felt like the stakes were so high. The whole bit in Midnight was like my favorite. And then it just like, so that was like a 4. And then it just went progressively downhill and was a 2 in the end. Sorry, Meg.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. By the way, anyone who's watching who's read it, put your rating in the comments as well. Aaron?
I gave this one a surprising 3 stars. This is my favorite in the series, actually. And
this was my least fave. I'm swapped.
And there are some significant reasons why. First, this is the first one I've read completely physically. I listened to the first one on audio, and I do not actually think I would recommend these audiobooks for people to enjoy the story. I feel like maybe if you're rereading it, maybe the audiobooks are cool. But I do think they take away from my enjoyment a lot. And also, I felt like this one actually had a plot. Like, there was a plot throughout the whole story. I feel like Vassia, when I was messaging Nicole, I was like, Vassia had a lot more agency in this book.
Yeah.
And she was a lot more assertive. And the set, honestly, not being a Mouse Scout was like the best. When she was in the lake, in the forest, with the little, oh my God, the little mushroom.
Yeah.
Oh. It's the most precious thing ever. That whole part of the story was so good. Like, honestly, this could have been a 4-star read if it didn't get a little convoluted in the middle, because I feel like I understand, not me going into like all the other stuff, but I understood why the thing with the bear happened, but like that was kind of what we were building up to, and it was resolved very quickly.
Yeah.
Like secondary plot, which I'm like, I thought this was the main plot, but okay.
That was my main issue, especially like Constantine. I felt like we'll be leading up to him from book 1, and then that was over like 2 seconds. That was, and then the whole Tata thing I did not care about. So that was where my enjoyment like really dipped, because up until that point it was about a 3 or 4.
Yeah, I read in the acknowledgements, Katherine Arden says like, because that like mirrors a real battle, the battle at the end, like from history, and she was like, I always knew I wanted it to end at that, and I feel like because she always wanted to end at that, like it almost like felt a bit, it does feel a bit disjointed from the rest of the series for it to end there, I think. So I get what you mean. Shall we see, what did everyone else rate it? 3.5. 5 stars, 2 or a 3. That's okay. Don't worry. I won't hate you. The Last Book is his favorite. I gave it 5 stars, my favorite from the series. Okay, so like a mixed bag. Oh, 4.5. Okay, that's pretty good. I saw that too.
Dude, I'm watching bigger and bigger every day.
I remember when we were in the last live show, I was like, I'm so excited for some new characters, and I said mushroom, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to meet him. Like, he's so cute.
And imagine him like a Papa Smurf, like with just like a little peanut, and like when she hit him with the thing,
and he's so dramatic.
Adorable.
Okay, I feel like we've got so many different things to discuss. I don't really know where to start. Like so many different aspects of the book and how all the different parts like ended up. We've got 2 comments here about the bear in this book. Do we want to talk about the bear? Because I do actually feel like he became like more of an interesting character in this book. Like I feel like we're getting right into the end of the book first. But like when he became like in servitude to Vasya, like we got to see a lot more of his like sarcasm and comments. And I don't know, I quite enjoyed him in this book. What did you guys think?
I feel like he was kind of positioned as like the villain character, but as we got to know him more, I feel like he actually became more complex because he really is a chaos spirit, and that really was like his overall goal the whole time, was to inspire chaos. It wasn't necessarily to like destroy everything, but destruction brings chaos. And I think like, we were able to see that as the story progressed, because even when he was on her side, he was like, this is like a little bit of chaos, even in these vows and all this other stuff. And it was fun because he was unexpected. Like a lot of characters you can kind of predict. For example, if you talk about Moroskov, for the most part, you can kind of predict what he would do based on the type of stoic spirit he was, versus like the bear was shocking me left and right.
Yeah.
The vampire thing, I was like, what? I just knew it was gonna be something else, but I didn't expect it to be a vampire.
Well, we had them in the first book, didn't we?
Yeah. Just, when somebody's like, I want to just bring about destruction, I didn't see vampires. It's like,
yeah.
I thought it was really interesting when we saw him like mourn Constantine. I think that's when you really started to see that like he has more complexity to him. And I was like totally expecting this to lead up to like a showdown between the 2 twins, like. And that didn't happen. So it was really interesting how they kind of end up having just sort of live like side by side in the world, Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I quite enjoyed that, how they kind of like end up begrudgingly accepting each other's existence and like just having to kind of live with it. It wasn't where I saw the series going when I read it the first time. Like the whole the Cherty wanting them to like wanting Vasya to unite everyone and to like not carry on this like centuries old war. I never saw that coming, because like the whole series, it does feel like it's leading up to like this big battle between them when actually it's more like a push to unite them more than anything.
Because twins are parts of the same whole, essentially, or they're supposed to be, because one is 2 seasons, one is the other 2 seasons, and like you can't have one really without the other.
Yeah. what did we think? I don't even know what to talk about. There's so many things I want to talk about. Let's talk about the midland. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the start. I'm gonna try and work my way like a bit more chronologically. What did you think of like the land of midnight and Baba Yaga and all of that part? Like, was that your favorite part?
I loved it. That was like high 4 stars. That whole part I loved.
When she was meeting all the little spirits and like it was that was like the part that I enjoyed about book 1. Remember I told you like when we were talking about book 2, I missed the little spirits and like the different aspects. Like she wasn't interacting with them as much because she was on her little questy quest. They were so cute and they were like, don't do that, he's gonna kill you. And then she like went into the water, like, you're not gonna kill me today. Like I might die to be here right now. And I was like, I just love seeing her stand up for herself. I love seeing like the forest and like the spirits and all these things like come together around her to support her because she was like on her last leg, literally. And like the little the movie or whatever that was in the you know, it's like her. She always kind of went back to her childhood and like she was like putting the bread in the thing and like giving her blood to them and just like the little bit of thing you're gonna do for us, and they did so much for her. The warrior was just throwing fish at her like, here, eat, girl. I love that part so much, and her meeting her and her nan. Who's Baba Yaga? Like, I don't know that. Her dad being the Sea King. How did they get together? You know, I want that.
What was I going to say? So, what do you think like caused Vasya to like suddenly be much more assertive in this book? Like, I was thinking, do you think it's more losing Solovey, or do you think it's more like almost dying in the fire? Like, what do you think meant? Because I feel like it's quite a big shift at the start of this book to her being much more assertive for herself. Thoughts?
I think because you know how she kept on sort of giving, especially Constantine, I feel, the benefit of the doubt and then going back and saving them, even those who have done her wrong. Like she'll keep going back and doing the right thing. And I think after the fire, she sort of saw, okay, like it's end game for me if I keep doing that. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
She like stepped into her like full witchiness because remember she's like, you know, I'm not burning here today. And there's like I feel like a lot of times she was fighting with her nature. Fighting, like she would be okay with a little bit of it, but because she was so shamed by it, but she's like, even me trying to be helpful, everything that she did was to be helpful. Even her mistakes and you know trying to fix them and rectify them was to be helpful. And like these people just like rose up against her, and it's just like, you know what, y'all would take my life from me no matter how much I'm trying to help you, but my magic does not let me down, and these people don't let me down. And it was like, I guess when you got to the point where people wanted to literally burn you alive, and you even just trying to help them, it's like, well, it's no holds barred. Then it's like, well, now she's like had enough. She's been completely fed up, and it hasn't completely embraced who she is and lean into that, and is okay with being shunned by her community because she's already gone as far as they're willing to go.
Yeah, I love this comment. I'm not gonna lie, I've been running along to claim my place in the royal family the second I heard I was descending from the Sea King.
I told my brother I would have never left the forest. They would have had their little war and their little battles, and that would have been their business. And I would have stayed with the mushrooms and the fish, and we would have just had a great time. I would have tended to the horses.
Yeah.
I would have let Russ burn.
Yeah, but she's still like, oh, I'm still gonna come out and see how everyone is, and you know, travel. And I'm like, girl, just stay with the mushrooms. But I suppose that's not her. That like there's kind of something to what you're saying, like her assertiveness, like it comes from her actually figuring out how to use her magic. Because I feel like this was the first time we saw her being really in control of her magic and like actually understanding it and like not being afraid of it anymore.
And she didn't have anything to depend on. She no longer has Sasha. She no longer has Solovey. She no longer had the King. She didn't have anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there was also a part of her up until the end of last book that wanted to sort of meet expectations of others. Like she wanted to please her family. She wanted to do the right thing. Whereas like I think she realized that she, you know, doesn't want it. Like, I mean, she realized that all along, but she wasn't going to conform to it. I feel like fully by the end of
like with her niece kind of really set her off. Like she saw like what possibly happened there, and like seeing when the guy kidnapped her and all, and she's like, she's so much like me. And I think we saw the beginning of the book where she's like, you need to do this. You need to have her still feed the spirits. Like, this is important. When I'm done, she needs to come with me because like she's constantly going to be fighting her own nature. And she won't be happy here. And it was like, she had to survive because like there was Masha to now like see about. And like she probably won't have kids of her own, but like her, her niece is like her in so many ways. It's like she knows that someone, if she doesn't, no one will see about her.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this book is like the lineage. Like, wait, there was a comment. Yeah, like learning more about the backstory, like the fact that like Vavra is her great aunt and like Baba Yaga is like her great, like how finding all about that. I just think it's so cool. And it
My
definitely
book has a family tree in the back.
Oh yeah, mine does too.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I would like the story of how the witch in the woods and the sea monster had children. I really would like to see how we got there.
How does that logistically happen?
What's he gonna do when he finds out what happened to all his kids, his long lost kids that he didn't know he had? It's gonna be a revenge story. Let's hear it. He's gonna rise up. Come on now, every revenge story in the making, Catherine.
Okay. Wait, someone. Okay, thoughts. This isn't thoughts on Sasha in this book. Does everyone hate him?
Oh, really? No, I still love him.
And then another one says,
consistent.
"What? Sorry."
I feel like Sasha was pretty consistent in this book.
Yeah, I love him. I
He's
really love Sasha. I have stuff.
Him and Dimitri. Like, Dimitri is the MVP. Like, that moment where he'd put Sasha in the prison to make sure, like, to suss out what's actually going on because he's loyal to Sasha, not to Constantine and everyone else who's plotting. Oh my god, I love Dimitri. Dimitri was my favorite.
Not to be a secret incest shipper.
Honestly, I was thinking that while reading it, and I kept thinking about our last line where we like figured out that they're related. I was like, damn it.
I kept thinking it too, and I was like, no.
And I'm like, honestly, because it's the 1400s, the problem wouldn't be that they're cousins; it's that they're both men. Like,
I know.
Who's gonna say something to the Grand Prince of Moscow, who finally united all of Rus? No.
Well, my question is, how I was just trying to work out how distant cousins they are.
I think they're second or third.
No, they're his first cousins. Because remember, when they were in the camp,
let me get the family tree out.
When they were in the camp, he was like, "Oh, what a wonderful way to get rid of your cousins," because they already had Vladimir. And he was like, "Well, now you send us 2 more of your first cousins."
Okay, well, someone's saying Olga and her husband are technically first or second cousins.
Exactly.
Like,
it was just the good part.
We can't.
They are first cousins. Oh my god.
Honestly, I thought we were gonna get a little demon shit with the way the bear kept kissing Constantine.
True. There's like a little heaven in there.
It's like going for it. Full on mouth kisses. Racist. What is this? And the demon king gonna be with the witch? Like, is this what we have happening here? Okay, Catherine. All right.
Oh dear. But yeah, Sasha and Dimitri, MVPs. We love them. I was so sad when Sasha. I was so sad. Makes me so sad. It makes me so. I love him. I love Sasha so much. What an icon. Okay. Anyway, let's get rid of
reading the acknowledgements. He is based on a real person, like the battle and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like his actual name was the name of a historical person who did what he did.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
TBR Con. Anyway, Katherine Arden was like her story. There was a part of history that she really enjoyed, but there was a lot of missing parts, and so she wanted to figure out like what were the things that happened in between these historical events and how it made and seeing maybe how these people might have been connected. Because like the thing that Dimitri did and with hiding, like pretending to be someone in the battle, like a boy that really happened. He was the first person who united Russia under this, and he was friends or like partners with this person. And so like she was like, I'm weaving together his history with fantasy and like pushing this narrative together as to what I think actually happened throughout this sequence of events.
Wow, that's so cool. I love that. I love that. I love like I do love like history and fantasy combined. Like that is pretty like my favorite thing. Like I'm a hoe for like Victorian fantasy to get. I just love it. I'm trying to find a Tudor inspired fantasy because I love the Tudor period as well, and I can't find it. I can't find it. And people are like, oh, this book has like little elements. But I'm not talking like, okay, this is a big I'm going off topic here. But like it doesn't have to be like set in the real, like it doesn't have to be set in history. But I just want something like of that vibe. But I can't find it. But anyway, that's not important. That's not important. I just really want it in me. Like I just want it so bad.
Give you one of those next.
Huh?
Maybe Katherine Arden to give you one of those next. Because this book came out in the beginning of 2019. It's 2021. She got to be writing something.
I think she's almost finished something, I think, if I remember. Well, she's got 2 middle grades out as well since this. And I've read one of them. And they're quite good. They're like horror middle grade. They're quite good. Well, I've only read the first one. But I think like she's got like another adult one coming soon.
I think I'll send you the link to that video because the video was about history and fantasy, and I think all of those people have like very like historical based fantasies. I think there's this other lady that was talking then. I think she might have something maybe that might be up your alley.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just love it. We're going on. Hang on, I'm not making any sense. I was just going on her Twitter to see if she was talking about what was out next because I remember. Anyway, sorry. I was getting distracted. Okay. What should we talk about next? Oh my god. I don't know what to talk about next. Let me look at this.
I have a question for you guys. Who do you find the scariest? Like out of all like the men and all the villains, did you find the most terrifying? Because I found it to be Constantine. Like, I felt he was so threatening the whole time.
Yeah. But he's also a bit pathetic, like at the same time.
Yeah. Especially his power over the people, like his voice, how he can use that to influence others. And I think you really get to see at the beginning of this book.
It reminded me of the prophet.
Yes.
You reminded you of what?
The prophet from the year the witch ain't lit. And it was like, especially with religious fervor, the way he was able to wrangle them up. And like, he was lying. He didn't even believe in himself. He was not. God isn't even real, but whatever. And it's scary because it's so true. Like all these other villains, they have power, they can do things, but like he is a regular man who is doing a weird, scary thing that regular men have done throughout history and weaponizing it against a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would find him the scariest. Like, just most unsettling. Because I think with like Medved, for example, like we saw like more dynamism to him, and like we saw like more like nuance to him throughout, because you were saying like how he's like a chaos spirit, but like my man Constantine was just unhinged and scarily unhinged, and with that
and then the way he was actually lusting after her, I think that was made it even more disgusting. He was like, you're so ugly, but I want you. What?
Even she was like 12 years old too, like she was so young.
And like he's like, I just can't get the thought out of my head with her big eyes and her too far apart, and her nose and her hard lips, and she's ugly. But I just I think about her so much. I want her so much.
But literally all the men thought that, and then they still wanted her, and it was like,
it's weird that she typed that so many different ways. Like that was a choice. They include how ugly she was.
Yeah. When she was in like the I think it was like in the Tartar tent, and it was like Vasya was ugly, but her big eyes like it drew the eye. Like men noticed her. I'm like, why?
Catherine was giving me not like other girls, and I'm just like, I don't need this. She's a witch. She's obviously not like other girls, but like, does she have to be ugly? And like, the man was like, I don't want you, but I haven't slept next to a woman in a long time. Ew.
Yeah, it was gross.
I saw on Goodreads like this person saying, "Oh, by the end of it, I wasn't sure if Constantine was more villain or victim," and I'm like, "Girl, he's a villain."
He's villain. No question. No question.
Even Demetri was like, I can't get rid of him yet because the people will riot, literally.
Yeah.
Do you?
I was very unsatisfied with how he ended, and
that's what I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I was so unsatisfied.
The Doma boy who never talked to him, and he never talks to them because he's scared of him. But the one time with this thing we just need for the plot to happen, the Doma was like, "Hey, your blood is the answer. Your blood is the answer." And then he's like, "My blood is the answer."
Yeah, it felt like I really wanted Vasya to kill him, but then does Vasya ever? Vasya never kills anyone, does she?
Yeah, no. Like it's like. I think I would have loved that, but that's what I'm used to. No, I don't think she does.
I'm trying to think. I can't remember a time, but I may be wrong.
I think that's sort of part of her because she ends up sort of saving everyone, and she never ends up killing anyone.
But I just wanted her to kill him.
Yeah, or just some other satisfying death, like the masses to get him somehow, like turn on him.
Oh yeah, terrible.
You know what I mean? I wanted. Like it didn't necessarily have to be Vasquia. I just wanted a satisfying scene where it's like, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like letting him have the power to like do it himself. Oh, that annoyed me. I was like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah. And also that whole thing felt like the climax. I was kind of surprised that we still had like 150 pages after that.
Yeah.
Did you have a word count? Did you have a minimum? Because this story was over.
True.
Where you going? I feel like those two scenes could have been, those two parts of the book, I feel like could have been woven together a lot better because it kind of felt like, you know how when a series ends and like an author give you like a little novella or like a little epilogue, it felt very much epilogue-esque because like all throughout the story, like, yeah, this war was on the brink, but there was like a subplot that literally became the entire plot at the end of the book. And like, I know it's supposed to mirror the unity between the Frost King, the bear, and the Frost King, like them uniting, and then all these people of Rust uniting. Like I know that was like a parallel that she was doing, but it was not seamless in its like execution.
Yeah, it does feel like two endings. Like, yeah, I don't know, but I feel, I just what I'm thinking is Sasha didn't need to die.
He could have been resurrected with the power of the water and the life and the death, but he wanted to, he wanted to go to heaven.
Yeah, my man was like, listen, peace out, I'm done. When all before he's like, I have to be here for my sister and her family, and he's like, bye.
That little sentence of foreshadowing, later I would regret it. Like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, man, what are you doing? What are you gonna do here? But Sasha had to die for her to get Sylvie back. That was the only way. Because he was like, you owe me. He's like, I can't help that they're both too stupid to live.
Not gonna lie, I was happy when Sylvie was back. I was like, yeah.
I got a little misty.
But I was so shocked by how early in the novel he died. Because I remember in the last live, we were like, we kind of got it out of you that he was going to die. And then he died like straight away. And I'm like, what? Like,
straight away.
Pages into the book.
That had to happen for her to like finally break. Because she was she was mad about her brother and her sister and all. But when they hit that horse, she's like, oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then I found out Sylvie was just a baby. It's like, he's still a child.
Oh, yeah. This is about Constantine. I just wanted to see him get his ass beat once. Like, yes, please, just once.
They just want a crowd to turn their clubs on him and just like beat like they did Vasya, just beat him.
Yeah. I know I put like a note in here like he needs to get bitch slapped. Like that was literally just my note.
His death was not satisfying. He got to all romantic in his lover's arms. What? He's like, you told me God wasn't real. He said, I lied.
Yeah. Because he's like, what?
You told me she was dead. Okay, it was a lie too.
There was a really interesting quote there about like faith. Like there is no God, there's only faith. I really liked that quote.
Mm.
And
Well,
like
like,
I see people in the author's note how like this actually was a thing that happened where paganism and like Christianity were like living side by side up until like the revolution or whatever. Because remember when they went back to Olya's house, all her little forest creatures were strong because the sister Denise had been feeding them. She was giving out all the courses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see what I want to talk about next.
We haven't talked about Morozco.
That's what I was going to say next. Did we like it? Firstly, before we talk about the romance, what did you think of like his prison being a place where he was like adored and loved? Like, what did you think of that?
It's smart.
Mm.
I mean, if I trapped you in like a hole in the floor, you're gonna all your life you're gonna be like, I'm gonna get out of this hole, But if I put you in a castle with people around you having a good time, good wine, good food, and you one day you're enjoying yourself, you have no desire to leave, you're comfortable. It's everything that you want because you want to be remembered and worshipped and adored or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought the only thing I didn't like about that part was when we first met up with him and he'd like forgotten everything. I just hate memory loss. I just find it one of the most pointless things. Like you always know they're gonna remember again, and it happens like 5 pages later. Like, what is the point? But other than that, I absolutely love that bit, and I felt like we got to see a side of him that we hadn't really seen before. Like that's been hinted at, but we haven't really fully seen, and I really appreciated that.
I was a bit shook. I remember when I first read it, I was like, you don't remember her when she's like talking to you, but you get like that's what it takes you to remember her. I'm like, listen, like, come on, remember her when she says, please remember me.
I also thought it was interesting when he was like, the bear is bound under 3 different things, but she got to the bear so easy.
Yeah.
Hey, like, yeah, let's go. You gonna do right? All right, now, come on.
Yeah, that is funny. But yeah, their relationship. Oh my god, when near the end he calls her beloved, I was like,
I too loved you as I could.
Oh, I did like
the whole thing.
Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything important.
I was just going to say how she makes him more mortal, and he kept referring to that. I loved that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was in summer for her. He was literally melting.
But then she was like, he'd been there for like a day, and he's like, listen, I can't do this longer. And she's like, what? I'm like, listen, this man is like fading away in front of you. Let him go. And she's
like, he had to go talk to her sister. She said, I know you've been with a man. If it's a spirit or whatever, I can tell. I was like, how can you tell she's still with the spirit?
And then she shows him to her, and she's like, nah.
He said, this is the most pointless thing ever. None of your sacraments can bind me. Like, what? I'm not a man. Like, what?
But yeah, I loved their relationship. Like, I just think it's so like slow and like gradual, and like she talks a lot about how she's felt like betrayed by him, or like at different moments, or like how like their relationship isn't easy, and it isn't like, I think he teaches her like a lot of painful things as well as like teaching her love as well. So yeah, I love their relationship. Oh my god.
And also the bit where she started talking to Olga about him, and like they had like a real cute sister moment, like, you know, I've been with a man. Well, not a man. I loved that bit.
But also, like, I don't usually like it in books when like someone can tell that a character's lost their virginity. Just like, I can just tell. I've seen enough times. I'm like, no, you can't. No, you can't.
Is different. This is the way you walk in your presence. What? It wasn't different when I was at the stake. That wasn't the difference. You sure that's the difference, girl? People are trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Doesn't it make you so? Oh my god! I just love thinking of them like in like a little cottage in the woods together with the horses and the mushroom and like, oh my god.
He was so precious. And he kept saying, he said, remember that I was first.
And when he was like, what did he say? He said like, when she called him back, he was like, I knew you couldn't do it without me.
He was like the comic relief. Like it was like it was so heavy, but his like little bits. And when she asked for a certain kind of mushroom, he was like, yeah, I got you. And then he just brought it. She's like, these would kill me, but like,
Yeah.
he was souring all the food. It's like, yeah, let me do it. And he's like, even though you don't have mushrooms where you're from, because it's too cold. It was just so precious. Like I would love to see that adapted just because I want to see the little mushroom.
Yeah. But then it said like in the book, it was like he looks like a little like small man. And I'm like, but then that kind of for a moment imagined him as like a curled up little thing. But then you just gotta imagine him as like a cute animated mushroom.
And then he glowed green.
Yeah. When he goes gray and he's like,
Okay. How did y'all picture Morel's Cup? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm picturing the Night King from Game of Thrones.
No.
I mean, when you think of Winter Frost, demon spirit, come on, he fits.
Wait, what's
Not
the? I haven't
attractive.
seen the Game of Thrones. Hang on.
Google the.
He's not
Right
attractive.
No.
Hang
Hang on. I'm gonna get art of him up.
Yeah, we looked at fan art in the first live.
That was
didn't
in
we?
the first live. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my guy. Hang on, wait. Okay, I'll share my screen. Share screen.
I mean, I figured they were ugly together.
No, my man.
No,
How ugly he was.
He's really attractive.
Well, that's not a very good one there, but like
That gives me Night King vibes.
No, there. That's how I pictured him.
people never draw Vasya ugly as well. I'm like, listen.
Mm.
Aw.
No, she looks so pretty there.
Vasya is never
Yeah.
that clean.
Huh?
She's never that clean.
No. Oh wait, is this
Yes, that's Constantine.
Oh,
Wow.
Iconic.
Okay, I like that.
Oh, I love this one.
that's amazing.
I like that a lot. Because, like, that's an accurate shit. When you tell him, you cross me, I'm going to dye your other eye and you'll be in darkness forever.
I feel like he ain't that.
Cut her hair off. So why won't have no short hair pictures?
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Whereas,
I
like,
also pictured him like an older version of like Jack Frost. Have you seen that animated movie? I can't remember what it is.
That Inception thing was the little.
yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? When the screen's like. Jack. Wait, what's Jack? Huh?
I was like hoping that she would go back to like. Is she even talking about like Alosia and like?
Yeah,
Arena?
someone said. Yeah, I wanted to see him again because he was such like a big part of the first book.
She's like, if I die,
Yeah.
send Masha to our brother. He'll know what to do because he was there when I was a child.
Yeah. Oh, I miss him. I wish we could have like popped in. Or I feel like we need like if we ever have a short novella, I would like to see how he's doing. Hang on. Yeah. Yeah, I want to know how he's doing. I love a lot. Oh my god, I love him so much.
He's probably married by now. He might have a kid, you know.
But I can't imagine that. He feels like this boisterous.
I mean, Oak was married off at like 14.
That's true. But I feel like guys are usually married off like a bit. And there's like no one even for him to like marry him off, like to like
He's
choose.
just
who
the
he
man of
gets
the
with.
house now.
Yeah, so he gets
Older
to
brothers are
choose.
gone. His dad's dead. That's his house. He got to have a wife. For a reason,
Yeah.
to have a mom. It's going to be 2.0.
Oh dear. Right. Is there anything else that we should, if anyone who's watching, put anything in the comments you want us to chat about that we haven't already?
Something I would like to bring up. This
Yes.
is one of my critiques. I
Okay, yeah.
didn't feel like there was always consequences. Like, I feel like, not consequences, but I feel like aftermath of things weren't really drawn out. So, like, after the whole Constantine thing, we were kind of just onto the next conflict. And this
Yeah.
was where kind of my issue was. I felt like we were just ticking off all the different conflicts, not necessarily like having, like, some of them there was a lot of investment, and then some of them there wasn't. Like, I personally didn't find any investment in the whole Tartar thing, even though that's what everything led up to. But there was so much invested in Constantine, then so little aftermath because we were just on to the next thing. And I felt like even from the second book we were sort of doing that because we had the Cassidy, you know, that dude. And it just felt like sort of the same thing, and we're ticking it off. So I'm kind of curious to see what people think of that.
I feel like that has to do with like the size. Like, this book either needs to be like 150 pages shorter or needed to be like 150 pages longer. Because if it was shorter, we would have cut out the whole Tartar thing, and like it would have been a short conclusion. But like the thing with the bear and all that, like that would have had a bit more impact, like that ending, because that was the end of like the overarching kind of plot. The subplot of them like uniting, I didn't even see that riddle. So when she was like, "You failed," I didn't understand how she failed.
Yeah.
Because like she was trying to do so many things in so few pages. Like there were so many battles, and it was like dun 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 dun, like thing after thing after thing. That it needed to be longer and have more time to flesh all the elements out, and for them to have more impact. Shorter, so that fewer other things could have been done.
Yeah.
I guess I always felt like the pace was dictated by like in wartime you don't have time to like sit and reflect on like, oh, this person's died or whatever. Like I feel like it was the momentum was carried along by necessity. Like shit just had to get done, and so there wasn't necessarily time for like the consequences to fully happen, I guess, like in a way that it would normally. But I do get what you mean, but I feel like in my head I was just like, oh well, because out of necessity, out of like outside forces, shit's just gotta carry on moving. But yeah,
and it didn't bother me like until the Constantine thing. Just like when something leads up to it, I just, you know, I want to feel satisfied, and I want to see like consequences. And when that happened, I sort of noticed, oh, we never really get that for anything in here, and it just kind of plots along. Even like after the Tartar thing, like we literally end there and we don't see the aftermath. Like, I mean, that might just be my preference as a reader. But yeah.
Also, I don't understand how Sasha died, like at all, really, because Celebrate, whoever was dead. And then he was like not dead for one final.
I think he like stabbed him, and then like he like out of like adrenaline was like woo, and then he was like, ah shit, because he realized he'd been stabbed. I guess
Sasha's like the best warrior y'all got in this whole army. The monk now was an interesting choice. I'm like, I'm not against being violent. How is Sasha this great warrior and a monk the whole time? Okay,
but that again goes to the acknowledgements. Like she always knew Sasha was going to do that because he's based on a historical figure.
And I'm like, the historical figure, did he die too right there?
Yeah, he died there.
Oh, that was unfortunate.
I don't know if he died exactly like that, but he definitely died like right after being like winning that fight.
I would have rather been like, you know what, he thought he was okay, like all the wounds together like took their toll on him. So afterward, like they were like fine, things had been settled, and then he had a like soft, quiet death in the forest. Like that would have made more sense to me. Or like I would have enjoyed that, I think, a little bit more, because it just didn't seem as realistic that he done all this and like, you know, all that, and then he was like,
yeah. I love how you acted out.
Yeah.
He wanted to go holy, like my soul. All that you've seen today, faith was strong.
Okay, what about this one? Least favorite character? Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, Constantine, because I hate him, not because he's the worst character. I just hate his guts. And I think, like we were saying, he resembles so many men throughout history and so many men that like still exist. That
yeah, probably my. I mean, like it's like, is your least favorite character someone you hate but you like kind of enjoy hating, or is it like a character you don't think is like that good of a character? I'm trying to think.
Oh, you know who I think was so random? The I don't know. He's part of like
Chalabai?
Tata. Chalabai, him.
Yeah, because he was like kind of in book 2, wasn't he?
Because he was the one that
But I
was the,
hardly
like,
remember
top
him
guy
in
for
the
casting.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
he
think
was
I really
only-
clocked him
Yeah.
because he just seemed so irrelevant, and then he just had this like suddenly sort of important role, and I was like,
Yeah.
He was a salesman.
Yeah.
Probably him.
And whoever was paying.
Okay, fave and least favorite scenes. Oh, I don't know.
The whole midnight section is my favorite, like hands down.
Yeah, probably same. Hang on.
I think that was my favorite thing when she went to go like find food in the forest, and then like she met all those little animals and all that. Or also the little moments with her and Pashova, whatever her name was, the like flame horse, when she finally they started to get along begrudgingly, and she's like, "They made me come to you. Here I am.
Yeah.
The mushrooms that needed me." It's also just like.
This like massive important horse being like, the mushroom told me to come, so I'm here. I there were just to be honest, there were a few scenes I feel like just in between that slowed the pace down, so I can't like name them specifically, but there were just scenes where like people talk and like, we're gonna go do this now and like discuss it. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of slows the pace down. But so like they were probably like my least favorite scenes, but they're not really like scenes in their own right necessarily. But yeah, I would say like the part in Midnight was like my favorite scene, because I think it's so cool as well, like how every couple of steps she's like in a different place, in a different environment. Like I thought that was so interesting as well. Like the idea of like in my head, it's like a patchwork quilt of like an area with like, you know, you walking in between lands and stuff.
And how time's also frozen because it's like always midnight. I really liked that.
Yeah. Yeah. What was one? Oh, sorry, we haven't all answered. Sorry, I'm carrying on. Nicole, have you answered? Or you have?
Midnight was our
my
favorite.
favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Tata bit was probably my least favorite, or Constantine dying, just because that's so disappointing. And then by the Tata bit, I was like not interested. I was like, what? We're just having another thing that we know we're going to visa resolved. I'm not interested.
Oh my God.
Are you okay?
I'm about to I was about to sneeze, but I lost it.
Oh no. I hate that.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I got such bad allergies. If I sneeze at any point, I'm sorry. Okay, I think we're good. Oh my God, do you know when you're like, my allergies have been so bad recently, I could just stand there on the verge of a sneeze for like 15 seconds before I sneeze. It's so painful. Oh my God, I hate it. Wait, can you talk about something else? I need to blow my nose. I'm going to mute myself.
I think my least favorite scene was when they had like got together and they were going back to Moscow. The whole sequence was very unnecessary when they were like in the wheat floor field and like the thing had attacked them. Moscow is like, I'm like, this is unnecessary. We had traveled through worlds and time in like a sentence. We can just travel back to Moscow like, right now and just go to that, because the way that they use time, like we don't have to do this. We can just go right on the Moscow. Walk into the city.
I remember a bit I really liked, the bit where like Morozko and Sasha like sort of finally formally meet and they like butt heads.
Yeah,
I loved that.
My brother and my spirit man.
What was one element you wish was introduced earlier?
The
Ooh.
plot. I would have appreciated that earlier in the series. I might add.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I
dear.
don't agree. I really liked the first book. That was my favorite out of the trilogy.
Mm.
I don't know, because I really because I liked book one so much, I was like satisfied with what we got in that, and I was like prepared for everything to be expanded upon. But because my enjoyment went down with each book,
Yeah.
I feel like I can't answer this question.
It may be the reverse. What do you think was the element of book one that you would have liked to see continue on throughout the series? Nicole said, "Why'd you put me on the spot like that, huh?"
Yeah, you got me thinking. I think what book one did really well was there was a lot less conflicts, and I think the containedness, is that a word? Contained element of the story really worked well with it. I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that. I don't have a full answer for you.
I do love the containment of that first book, like how small it is, and like, yeah, just like, I don't have another word other than containment or small, but like how I don't know. I feel like actually you disagree with me on this, Aaron, but I feel like book one actually has the best plot, like in terms of like I do. I feel like it has like
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like
that was in book one, so maybe I can't agree or disagree because I don't recall there being one.
I feel like that had the best plot
well.
structure. Yeah. Whereas I feel like with this book, like I said, I felt like the Constantine bit was like the climax, and then we still had 150 pages. And I was like, where are we going? Like, I just kind of felt like it was a bit convoluted, I guess. But yeah, I agree. I think book one was the best structured.
Yeah, sorry, I just yawned.
Side effect thing. Someone went this. Well, I didn't like the actual side effect of the magic because only women can use the magic, and the side effect is going crazy. So like the crazy women thing just was a bit easy for me, I guess. Like there could be a lot of consequences of using like the magic. Like even if it was like losing her humanity, which isn't necessarily the same as going crazy, or like not being able to control it or like something, but just you're gonna go mad, and I'm like, okay. I guess it's really a stereotype, but
I think this answers my and for the previous question, magic. I think I would have liked more magic to be introduced earlier.
Yeah, but
it didn't bother me that wasn't. I just like magic.
Yeah, I feel like the series does grow well. Like there's like an expansion of the magic a bit in each book, and there's also an expansion of the place. Like not book one is so contained, and then book two we go into the city, and then in book three we kind of like access this world beyond our worlds. Like I feel like it does grow well, but I also think reading it this time I can see like if magic is something that you like enjoy, then book two I think is like really lacking in that a bit. If that's something you enjoy.
Witch, like from Baba Yaga's great granddaughter, like she's just this amazing witchy person, and like if it was a life or death circumstance they brought out of her, she's had many life and death circumstances in 3 books.
Yeah.
I think though, like with what I thought was interesting about the magic was like the idea of like having to forget. Like I know you say you don't like memory loss, but like do you remember like how Vasya was like, in order for something to happen, I just have to forget it's not the way it was. So like if she wanted to set something on fire, she's like, I have to forget they're not on fire. And like I just thought that was an interesting element of it because I've never really read that before in terms of like how it works, I guess. Like
they can't all right.
Yeah, but it being rather than like, oh, I want to set that thing on fire, you have to like almost do the opposite. You have to like forget that that's not the case. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah. Oh, what about this one? Do you wish Constantine came in later in the story as a villain, or are you happy he existed as a D-list antagonist for most of the series? Ooh.
No, Constantine did not have a character at all for me. Because he was a man in the first book, like a very creepy, disgusting man that he was lusting after this like little girl and like being weird. And then we thought he all died. And then we get to the second book and then he magically appears there too. And just so happens to be the guy that Sasha rescued, and then just so happens to be the man that Olga nursed back to health who didn't kill her baby and her sisters. It's like he was just so convinced. Like certain scenes where like there was something missing, so it was like plug in Constantine. His art was like not consistent.
Yeah,
he was an unnecessary character for the most part for me.
Really? I don't think he was unnecessary. I think he made the other villains unnecessary, like that Cassian guy. And then I feel like there was someone else. I think what I thought originally was going to happen in this series was Constantine was going to get defeated at the end of The Girl in the Tower. And then this last book was going to be about Medved. But because it didn't end up being Medved being like a villain, that didn't really happen. But no, I feel like he should have been more in book 2, actually, because I felt like that was the setup.
Yeah. He did go a bit missing in book 2.
Like how
even in this book,
like defeated
he went missing a bit
and all that. But y'all can defeat a priest. Now that it just the balance didn't work out for me. Y'all can do all this and unleash magical forest animals and summon the snow and all of it. Like you cannot depose a priest.
Yeah. I don't know. I quite enjoyed him, like just existing in the background as this like creepy guy who I don't know. I quite enjoyed that aspect of him.
Like I was saying, he represents like so many real men in history that, especially in terms of like witches, whenever you hear about witches and you know the witch trials and then being burned, he like represents so many people who were involved in those killings. I kind of think he's necessary for the story.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like his placement though, or his like how often or how like I don't know. I think that was a bit.
It was like the way they acted like he was the only priest in Moscow, the only one in the whole city.
But that's his power, and I think that's what's really scary is because he's really attractive. He's got like this voice that everyone listens to. Like he's charming, and I think that's what makes him really scary.
Yeah, I think would be great movies. I don't know that it would be a good TV show.
Oh yeah,
I think a good trilogy of movies would be awesome. Or even like a mini series, but like I feel like this would not work. Like you can't drag this out for so long. There's only so much you can do with it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it could be like, well, I don't know. Maybe you could do it as like a 1 season kind of thing, but I don't think it could be like 3 series. Like it could be 3 movies. But it couldn't be 3 series. I don't think.
I do think like, I would read another book in this world if it like was what happened in the aftermath. I always enjoy aftermath stories, or like when she goes back to the forest, like if she's just strictly in midnight and she's rebuilding it and like reestablishing these relationships and like connecting the winter and the spring forest and like all these things. I would read that. It's interesting. I don't need all the like grand Moscow, all that. Like just stay in Rust in midnight with the Lady of the Lake with your niece, like, and like be happy. Like I would read that. I don't need the other part.
No, I'd love to see her. I would love to see her niece like in midnight and like how she is. I'd love to maybe see her like grown up,
like
the
a
niece.
15-year time jump or something.
Yes, yeah, I'd really like to see that, and like how she has like come into her power and like all of that. I really like that. By the way, did you guys hate Olga as much in this book?
No, I really liked her.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like you hated her in the last book, didn't you?
I didn't. I think Riley and Aaron did.
Oh.
She was not being a very good sister. She's being a hater. At this point, she just accepted that life was as it was, and she was letting the girl give the people bread. And she's like, all right, well, I can't run from this reality. Also, her husband never mentioned her, which I thought was so odd. In all the time, Vladimir, like I didn't realize that he was their cousin through like marriage. Like, I didn't connect the two that was Olga's husband until like they literally said it was Olga's husband because
Yeah.
there was nothing. We had never seen them together. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't seem like anybody's husband or dad.
No. But I suppose that's like how it was at the time.
Nothing. He didn't even know he had a new kid, that he didn't have a new kid.
Yeah.
Like, nothing.
Yeah. I remember when Vasya rescues him and he's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm your wife's younger sister. And I'm like, he must be sitting there going, why has my wife never told me she has a younger sister like this? I'm going, what the fuck? What's his comment? If they have one season where it's book one, but she escapes to midnight at the end to live out life as Baba Yaga's heir, exploring magic and stuff. And then going to meet the Sea King. I want to meet the Sea King.
There could be a whole trilogy about like the things going on with the Sea King. Because I'm sure he got a thing going on in his world.
Yeah. Oh my god, I want to know more about the Sea King. Like, who is he? What's his personality?
Even like a prequel series where Baba Yaga meets the Sea King, and then the saga with her and her daughters.
I would like to see it.
Also, how did Vivar live so long, but her mom, like Vasi's mom, died so young?
Because she's in Midnight. Oh no, Vara.
No,
out in the world.
The
She's like,
twin, right?
Well, maybe
I feel
like
I mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't know that either. Maybe it's because like her mother died in childbirth, so like, but maybe Vivara like hasn't done anything that made her made her die. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe someone like tried to like, if you went up and stabbed her, maybe she'd die, but like otherwise she's just gonna kind of carry on living. Maybe.
I might be remembering incorrectly, but I remember her saying sort of something like she became more alive or more mortal when Olga came and she got to look after her. So I thought it was sort of something like Morozko, you know how he sort of disappears a bit and then comes back. And because Vara is originally from Midnight, I think that's why it happens. Whereas
she doesn't have any power.
The mum was born in the world, not in Midnight.
That's true.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see that.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I don't know if I've just made that up.
I mean, that would be a good theory if it was the case, but I feel like Miss Catherine don't know either.
Yeah. I feel like no, but I don't mind that there's some things that aren't explained and that's just the way things are. Like I don't mind that. Like I can live with that if it's like done well.
You can interpret it how you want as well. Like I feel like I sort of make connections or excuses where it works.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else we want to discuss or should we wrap it up? I can't really think of anything else.
I feel like we've done it all.
I feel like we've done it all. Thank you.
Should we? Oh.
No, what are you gonna say?
I was gonna say, should we say our least favorite book in the series?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, that's hard. I feel like for me, this one is my least favorite. Then the Bear and the Nightingale, then the Girl in the Tower. For me. Okay, Nicole.
My favorite is the Bear in the Tower. My least.
Which book is that?
Bear in the Tower.
Forgive me. It's only 8 a.m. I'm still buffering. Even though I've been here for an hour. The Bear and the Nightingale is number one, is what I have to say. And then the Girl in the Tower. See, I got confused because the Girl in the Tower is second. That's why I combined them. And then this one was my least favorite as well.
Winter the Witch is the best, and then book 1 and book 2 are equally bad for me. For different reasons.
I feel like because you read them back to back, you just have this experience of them that's like, the same.
Nothing happened here. We just frolicking in the forest. Nothing happens here. We're just all around the world.
I really enjoyed book 1. I thought that was a very solid book. I'm going to stand by that. So
I feel like the audiobook hampered you though as well. Like the audiobook, I didn't really like them. I don't think, and I can't tell you why, but
It might just be narrator. Some narrators are bad.
Is as I was reading it in a Russian accent in my brain, and it was terrible. But it was like I couldn't help it because all the words that I'd seen, like I listened to them be pronounced in this like a Russian accent. Also, I think maybe that was a bad choice, but the narrator does. So as I was reading it, I was like laughing to myself because like clearly this is my own brain making these sounds. But, like, whoa.
I don't know. I think there's something about this story that it's like it's just more magical if you're in control of how it's narrated and like how it's said. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like having someone else say it was nice for a reread, but I also think, yeah, I think it's better to read it physically, probably. It's almost like we hear the Russian accent.
Not. In my brain forever.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, well, thank you both for joining me to read this series and to making yourself read all these books when you wouldn't have had done anyway. Is there anything either of you want to like plug or promote about your channels before we go? Anything? No? Anyone? No? Okay.
We got things coming, but you know.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us for this read along. It's been so much fun. And I don't know what else to say. That's it. Thank you. I'm so bad.
Thank you for hosting.
Yes. Oh yeah, fantastic. I mean,
and for having us along
in this season, like in the cold.
Yeah. Well, it's not for Nicole because for Nicole it's the other way around.
Yeah. Summer, sorry.
It's been a weird summer though. Like it's raining right now. It's been a colder summer than usual. So I did get some of the vibes.
Maybe Nicole was a witch and she forgot that it was supposed to be summer because she was reading these books, and now all of Australia has to suffer. Remember that it's summer, Nicole.
Oh dear. Okay, I'm gonna end the broadcast. Thank you everyone, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.